Greater Clark County School Board for March 6th. Roll call, we're all here, all 7 of us, so.
Christina.
Let's start over. Good morning, or good afternoon. I don't even know what time of day it is. Christina Gilsey's absent, thank you. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Would you please silence your phones? Thank you. Our first item on the agenda, something that we enjoy so much, is our board salutes. And Michelle Berger.
I'm excited to have this opportunity. Congratulations to Thomas Bymore and Sarah Dubabi, both students at Jeffersonville High School, for being selected to receive the prestigious Lilly Endowment Community Scholarship. The Community Foundation of Southern Indiana awarded the 4-year full tuition scholarship, along with a $900 yearly stipend for required books. Both students plan to attend Purdue University next fall. The LECS, the Lilly Scholarship, is a result of a statewide initiative to help raise the level of educational attainment in Indiana and increase awareness of the potential of Indiana's community foundations to improve the quality of life of the state's residents. The board salutes our Lilly Scholars.
Some people may not understand, just how significant this achievement is. This is the best of the best from around the whole state of Indiana. This is extremely significant, and it's a very competitive situation. And to have 2 Lilly Scholars coming out of our schools is just an incredible it's an incredible thing for us, and so we're very, very proud of you. Thank you, families. Are there parents here? Yeah, raise your hand. Yeah, thank you, parents, so much. And other family members. No pressure. Don't worry about it. Please smile. And but this is an incredible honor for their families and for Jeffersonville High School, for Greater Clark County Schools, and we wish you the very best, and thank you for just being such great ambassadors for your families, your schools, and for Greater Clark as a whole. So thanks again.
I get the opportunity to do one more, and that's the River Valley's National Geography Bee. The National Geographic Bee is a nationwide competition for grades 4 through 8. It's an education outreach program of the National Geographic Society and is designed to encourage the teaching of students of geography. River Valley Middle School held their 15th annual National Geographic Bee competition with members of the school's Geography Bee Club participating in the event. The club includes the top 5 students per team at each grade level that showed exemplary skills in passing a qualifying test, which identifies them as the top geographers of the school. Congratulations to 7th grade student Robert Eichert for winning first place in the competition. Robert will represent River Valley Middle School at the Indiana Geography Bee this month.
Robert, you're not nervous, are you? Extremely.
So are we.
Yeah. You know, again, if you take a look at it, up and down the line, we take a lot of great pride in what we provide for our students in terms of academic opportunities. And you can see, Here's yet another young man that's taken great advantage of that opportunity, representing yourself, your family, River Valley Middle School so well. We certainly wish you the very best of luck. We have family here. Thank you very much. To you tonight in front of all these people, but I don't have enough time. So.
Good evening. Our next board salute goes to our Jonathan Jennings superhero. Tonight, the Board of School Trustees would like to recognize the heroic efforts of Jonathan Jennings Elementary cafeteria monitor Austin Casey for his quick action which recently helped a student. On January 9th, Austin noticed that a 4th grade student motioned for help because he was choking. Austin responded quickly and efficiently by performing the Heimlich maneuver on the student. Austin's heroic efforts addressed a life-threatening situation, and he was critical in keeping the student from choking to death. The board salutes Austin Casey.
Austin, sometimes no matter what happens in life, we can be well trained for difficult situations that may occur. It's one thing to go through training, it's another thing to step up and be able to act. To act when it's absolutely essential. Without you acting, heaven forbid what could have happened to that child. So not everyone can just step up and do what you did. That's why you're a superhero. And this is a very small token of our appreciation, but it means a great deal because we don't just award it to just anyone. We give it to someone. It's our Pride Award, and it's what our school corporation stands for. It's all about the fact that we want to have people of great character that are part of our school corporation, not only our students, but our staff. I can't think of someone more deserving of this Pride Award than you, so please accept this as a token of our appreciation for everything you've done. Thank you.
Is that somebody you know? Grandma.
It's all right. No problem. You got it? Yeah.
Who's that? You know her?
Thank you very much. Absolutely. Thank you.
Our next board salute is for the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. poster contest winners. The board salutes Greater Clark students that received awards for the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. poster contest. Entries were judged on the basis of neatness, pleasing appearance, originality, and relation to the theme. All winners and honorable mentions received a free ticket to the Martin Luther King Scholarship Breakfast held at Jeffersonville High School. Congratulations to our first place winners, Lindsay Vessels from Jeffersonville High School and Robbie Morris from New Washington Elementary. Congratulations to our second place winners, Vic Thomas from Jeffersonville High School, Carson Waters from Parkview Middle School, and Shannon Wolford from Spring Hill Elementary. Our honorable mention awards were given to Sydney Flora from Jeffersonville High School, Silas Booth from Parkview Middle School, and Litzy Rubio and Emily Izquierdo from Spring Hill Elementary. Jacob Lemon, Colby Carews, Femi Kareen, Trey Bodorf, Danielle Monroe, and Kavya Thaker. We would also like to congratulate the Martin Luther King Scholarship recipients, Isabella Doss from Charlestown High School, Thomas Bymore from Jeffersonville High School, and Kaylee Jones from New Washington High School. The board salutes our fabulous students.
Man, that's a lot of pressure. Again, what we do as a school corporation, we want to make sure that we're good school citizens and good community citizens, and every single one of these young people are tremendous representatives of their schools and of our school system. And I just want to thank you for what you've done to just bring such great pride to your families and our school corporation. So thank you very much. Cannot thank you enough. Are there parents here and so on representing these individuals? If you would stand up and just be recognized as well, we appreciate that. Do you get pictures? Are you okay? All right. Thank you for being patient with me as I passed all of those out to you guys. And again, we're very proud of you. Thank you.
And our final board salute tonight is to recognize the elementary girls basketball champions. Congratulations to the Jonathan Jennings Elementary Blue Team for winning the 2017 Girls Basketball Tournament. The team is coached by Jeff Farmer and Kathy Farmer. Team members include Hallie Casey, Emma Grace, Brooke Jones, Isabella Logston, Michaela McElroy, Kayla Perez, Kendra Sheehan, Audrey Slay, Aiden Stewart, Lila Conway, Natalie Grace Gagnon, and Bianca White. And managers include Rihanna Brading, Chesney Jackson, and Trevor Rothbauer. The Jonathan Jennings Elementary cheerleading team includes Dana Barnes, Brooklyn Blades, Kimber Darty, Sophia Fuquay, Lily Gillespie, Kaylee Jackson, Blair Kalin, Abigail Keltner, Sarah Martin, Ashton Shepard, Kelsey Whalen, and Megan Workman, and are coached by Sue Lane Kalin and Misty Rothbauer.
to pass all these out to you guys. But one of the things, when I first came to this area, in other places I've been in the state of Indiana, we never had an elementary basketball program attached to the school system. So it was like this eye-opening experience, you know, when I came down here and I saw how significant this was to the community itself. And so this is a big deal. It's not an easy task for you guys to win this tournament. This speaks a lot to you. It's just your ability, not just your talent, but your ability to work together as a team. That speaks volumes for who you are as people and as student athletes. And so we want to congratulate you on your tremendous effort. It's something that you won't forget. My son, who's now a 9th grader, he won an elementary championship as a 5th grader at Thomas Jefferson. He still reminds me of it today. So it is something that you will not forget. It's something to be very proud of, and we're very proud of all of you for your great accomplishments. So if you would, parents, are you here too? Thank you, parents, for everything that you do to support your children and entrust them to us as well. So another round of applause for these kids. Coach Farmer, thank you so much for the time and effort and dedication you give to these kids. I know how important it is to you and how much you care about them, so thank you.
Thank you, girls.
Thank you.
Now, I know you guys want to hang around for the rest of the meeting, but if you have to go, that's okay. If you'd like to leave at this time, you may. Thank you all for coming. Okay.
How's it going, man?
Thank you all.
I didn't think everybody would be. That's okay, we'll move on. I now need a motion for the approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve the agenda. Any corrections? Second, please, work. Second, thank you, Ms. Kraft. Any additions or corrections? Okay, all those in favor? Aye? Aye. Need a motion to approve the minutes from previous meetings, that's executive sessions and regular meetings. If I could have a motion, please. Okay, we have a motion to accept it. Do I have a second? Second. Ms. Kraft, thank you. All those in favor? Aye? Aye. Okay. Do we have any comments on the agenda? Okay. Now we need a motion for the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we have our claims, our field trips, travel, fundraisers, personnel. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any corrections or any additions? All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Okay. Gifts to buildings. We always like this part. We like money. Gifts to buildings. Ms. Zolman, would you please share those with our...
Okay, we started with $2,835.65, and we have some really good things here. We had 16 for Charlestown Middle, and that was an honor for for Jean Bowley. Charlestown High had scallywags and girls regional ball games. North Haven had 50 supplies, and Wilson had, they used Donor, Choose, and Target for $1,255.65. So I make a motion to accept the gifts to buildings.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Any questions?
Just
Although-
one.
Okay.
Go Target.
Go Target.
Target does a good job.
Yes. All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Now we're going to move on to action items, and I think tonight is the Tom Dykes show.
Yes.
Because I think he has most of the action items, so we'll see how quickly we can get through these. Okay, our first item is the facilities usage fees. And in our attached to our agenda was a sheet that showed that, so.
Yes, the administration is requesting an increase in our facility usage fees as per the attached document. The last time we increased our fees was April 13, 2010, so it was time. We completed an analysis of surrounding school districts and found that our rates are substantially less than theirs. Another factor in the usage fee request is the increase of utility rates. Therefore, we are proposing to be increasing the rates, and as you see there, so you'll see the current minimum, the current hour, the proposed minimum, and the proposed hour. Once you approve this, this will go into effect for the start of the next school year.
Do I have a motion to accept this?
Madam Chair, I move that we increase the facility usage as recommended by the superintendent.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion, questions? Long overdue. Anything else, board? All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Number 2 on our agenda for our action items is the solar energy architect engineer.
Yes, the administration is requesting permission to hire an architect to help us develop a request for proposal for solar energy and light replacement at Jeffersonville High School, Riverside Elementary, and Parkwood Elementary schools. In addition to the solar energy, we would also like to get prices to change the lighting at those 3 schools from T8 lights, which we're currently at. We went from T8s or T12s to T8s to LED lights, which are the most energy efficient you can get. The energy savings should be substantial with the LEDs, plus any extra energy we generate through solar can go back into the grid, and we can get reimbursed by Duke Energy for that. Up until I think 2032 is when we can get reimbursement for that. But just by doing the solar, we should be able to see a reduction minimum of 70%. Some schools that have gone to solar are looking at 80 to 85% reduction. So you figure Jeff High, Parkwood, and Riverside are 3 largest consumers. We're asking permission to go that route.
Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we accept we approve the recommendation for the hiring of an architect engineer for solar energy and replacement lights at Jeffersonville High School, Parkwood Elementary, and Riverside Elementary schools.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you, Teresa. All those in favor, or any questions or comments? Sorry.
Dr. Daigle, cost? I didn't see anything in here on what the cost would be for the architect engineer.
Well, I don't know, we're going to have to see what the cost is. Usually it's a percentage of what the overall budget's going to be, so I don't know what architects are out there. We're going to have to do some research to see, and then we'll come back with an architectural contract.
So we're just right now asking board permission to put a proposal out there to see what architects might be interested in bidding on this opportunity, right? So we'll come back to you with a...
Okay, but that's not what the motion says.
Yeah, I rescind that.
Yeah.
I rescind my motion.
It says to hire
Yeah.
an architect.
Let me restate that. You want to take your second back?
I
You don't think you have to, go ahead.
Okay. Madam Chair, I move that we approve, recommend that we approve the,
Request for proposal?
the request for proposal to, for the architects for those schools. Is that, did I miss that? Try it again.
I mean, can we just change the recommendation to solicit to hire versus hire? Something along those lines? I mean,
Yes.
Yeah, I was going on with the recommendation, but it didn't say that exactly.
Did you guys, or administration is requesting permission to hire, we just don't know how much that architect's gonna cost us.
Go ahead.
Let's get
What-
some clarification.
Yeah, so what we're doing is, Dr. Decker, what we're doing is we're going to put a request out. It's a request for proposals that will come back to us is what we're asking permission to do, correct? So we're asking your permission to allow us to put a request for proposal out.
Okay, so
to
we're not
see-
hiring an
You're not
architect to
hiring.
help
So
us.
that work, the use of the word hire
Okay,
is, what we want is an approval, a board approval to develop a request for proposals for solar energy and light replacement at
Gotcha.
Jeffersonville High, Parkwood Elementary, and Riverside Elementary. I apologize that the hire
That's okay.
was in there.
Yeah.
Is that accurate, Dr. Dykoff? So permission, does someone have that now?
Permission to help us develop the request for proposal.
Yes.
Okay, I believe Ms. Kraft just made that motion.
That's it.
And do I have a second to Ms. Kraft's motion?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Are there any questions now? Or any comments? Thank you for catching that. Okay, all those in favor of the amended motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Phew, let's see if we can get through this next one. Number 3 is the Mark Fetter Center Improvements 2018 Architect.
Yes, now we're asking permission to hire the architect.
Yes.
J. Lake Architecture and Design submitted a proposal for architectural and engineering services for 2018 improvements at the Fetter Center. Listed below are the major components and the cost breakdown of the proposal. The complete proposals there for review. Phase 1 design, $31,000. Phase 2 construction, $35,440. Phase 3 bidding, $4,430. Phase 4 construction administration, $17,720. Total fees lump sum, $88,500.
Do I have a motion?
I can do this if I can read
Go
this.
ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I move that the board approve the architectural and engineering services proposal submitted by J. Lake Architects and Design for the 2018 improvement to the Marshall Fetter Center for Professional Learning. Thank you.
Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Just so the audience knows what's going on up here, we went to a leadership training just recently, and it was strongly suggested that we repeat the motion instead of saying so moved or so anyway, that's what we're doing. We're trying, so bear with us until we get this new thing under our belts, but so far so good. Did we vote?
Yes.
Okay.
But you didn't ask for comments.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, but it's too late.
Do we have comments?
I have one, but it's okay. It's
I
too
am
late.
so sorry.
I know.
You can still make a
I
comment.
just feel so bad.
You can still make a
Can't
comment.
hardly make the comment. And the lawyer's sitting over there looking like, wonder what she's gonna say. Never mind, I'll do it later another time.
Under board comments, will you do that, please? Oh, now I feel bad. All
I just wanted
right.
to-
Sorry, I don't know. You know, I've got my boot off and my broken foot is all better, and I think it's done something to my brain. I don't know what's going on. Number 5, contract, oh, I guess this is number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, contract bus route extensions.
I'll defer to Mr. Rarick.
Okay.
The next two.
Mr. Rarick, he dropped all of his stuff back there. Okay.
Careful, Teresa, we can talk about the time you took a gun and the kid in Old High School and talking him to death.
Don't do it. I did for a kid. Nobody else could get it from.
Hello, board. I'm here because I'm asking approval to award a one-year extension for the contract routes 2C, 5C, 14W. And you can see the money there. They're all basically good rates, and we don't really want to do a a one-year bid on this if we don't have to. So we're asking approval for that.
Do you have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we, let me get this one right. Find out where I'm at. Madam Chair, I want to make, I won't make a motion, I don't want to say that. I move that we approve the one-year contract extension for Route 6C, 2C and 5C and 14W.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any comments or questions?
I have a question.
Yep.
Now, why are we just going with 1 year instead of 2 years? Is there some reason?
Yeah, next year, all the contracts will be expired, which will give us the ability to.
So you're bringing, okay, so is this the last of the group?
This is the last class to do that, yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Any other comments, board?
You do not want to hear.
Teresa, do you have
On
a
this
comment?
14W for 240, is that more than what we were paying before?
No, these are exactly
the
the
same.
same, it's just an extension of the contract.
Okay.
That one happens to drive more mileage, and that's why it's more for the daily rate.
Do you know where it goes, 14W?
Yeah, we got the GPS we can track it, so offhand I don't.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
So you said after this 1 year, then everybody's going to be at the same time?
Yes,
Okay.
that's the plan.
I have one more question. Now, is there anyone up for a new bus? Because if we're gonna be bidding these things, and we've got some new buses coming up, everyone won't get the same type of, so they can pay for them with the cost of buses. So won't we be back at that staggering again?
We could be, the more important thing to me is the ability to make the changes and make them more efficient if we can. And again, we can spec however we want on the bids. When we get to that point.
I'll leave that up to you.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, our next item, are you staying up there, Mr. Eric?
Yes, ma'am.
Bids for contract bus routes 6C and 14C.
Okay, on these two, we're asking approval to advertise and solicit bids for contract bus route 6C and 14C. And as you can read, the justification for this is we recently acquired one of them. So for 14C, we want to basically bid it out. In order to do that, we need to advertise that. And then 6C we looked at and we thought about renewing it like we did the others. But if you look at the daily rate, it's $440 a day. So we chose to bid it out and get a better price on that.
Isn't, oh, I'm sorry. I'll wait for the question.
Do you have a motion?
I move, excuse me. I'm training myself right now.
We're hanging in there with you.
I move that we advertise contracts route 6C and 14C as recommended by superintendent.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, now, do I have any comments or questions?
Now, the 6C and 14C, is that just for 1 year?
Yes. Yeah.
So everything after next year is all going to be at one time?
Yes.
Really?
Okay, question, Madam Chair. 6C and 14C, were those combined routes, or was one running a double route? Which one was running? Was that 6C running a double route? You said $400?
Yes, they just combined that.
Okay, so you're planning to put some other on somebody else when you go to bid those out, right?
Correct.
Okay, so they'll bring the price down. Okay.
Ms. Ullman, did you have an additional question?
Well,
Or clarification?
I guess I'm just getting old, but I have a hard time to think all of this is gonna be at one time. Buses at one time, I just don't, to me, that doesn't seem like it works well. But you're the leader, so.
Yeah, again, the intent is to really look at all the routes and try to make them more efficient by maybe taking some, consolidating some, and then rebidding them at one time.
So when all these come at 1 year, or do they get 4 years, or?
That we will discuss. It won't probably be, we don't want to keep doing the 1 year thing, obviously.
Because the buses won't all be the same.
Years and stuff.
One of the things that I would foresee, and of everyone in this room, I'm probably the least expert in this process, but
Don't bet on that.
I think that what I would anticipate happening is that contracts have sort of been all over the board since I've been here in terms of how the bidding process and the rate structures and all of this, and this would give us an opportunity to sort of step back, make sure that we're really consistent with what we're doing with the bidding process and looking at rate structures. And I think looking at and I don't know this for sure, but my assumption would be, do you want to offer 30 routes for all over a 4-year period of time, or do you want to stagger by the number of years of the contract? Maybe those are things that we could talk about if that's a concern that I'm hearing, is if all the contracts are all coming due at the same time. But
No, excuse me, that's not a concern.
Okay.
I threw the question out because we could end up that way if you needed a new bus. But I think what you're doing is good because you do get to look at all the routes and redistribute, put the mileage there, and then put the prices. So it's a good thing that what you're doing with the way the community, where the people are at right now.
Yes,
right.
and
Okay.
that's shifted too.
Yeah, word shifted now. It's good. It's good that you can do that.
Any other comments or questions, board?
As long as we keep in mind that these are the people who are there, they are on their bus.
Absolutely.
They don't have subs or options not to be. They pay for all the maintenance, all the gas, everything. And those people show up, I know, I was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. Our contract drivers are very significant. They're, like you said, they show up, you don't have to worry about subs. If there's an emergency or whatever, we'll work with them and we'll cover, and we have a way to get reimbursed. But for the most part, you're absolutely right, Nancy. This isn't about losing our contract drivers at all. Just looking at the areas and trying to clean up and be more efficient.
Any other comments or questions? I think we're ready for the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? So, thank you. Next item, I believe this is Dr. Dykle again, is North Haven Addition Renovation Change Order number 3.
Yes, change order number 3 for North Haven Elementary is attached for your review. This relates to changing the metal siding color. The change order amount is $1,645 and we pay out of the contingency fund, our allowance. The contract still remains unchanged. I think we still have about $31,000 left in the contingency. And all it is, it's a metallic paint versus a flat paint. They wanted to change to metallic, so it reflects and looks just like the existing paint that's on there. That's what we're asking for approval for.
Do I have a motion?
I move that the board approve change order number 3 for the addition renovation project at North Haven Elementary School.
Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Kraft.
That was good, Mark. That was smooth, Mark.
Pick the shortest one, Bill.
Any comments or questions?
Oh, goodness.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. All right. Deputy Treasurer appointment.
Yeah, it's with heavy heart that Joni retired. She was my right arm, my left arm, my left leg, my right leg, and I counted on her for a lot, and I really appreciated her, and I told her that. But I have Jennifer Cato, who is my executive assistant, and she's been learning the job for the last year, because Joni kept telling me, I'm going to be retiring soon. I said, when? She said, I'm not giving you a date. So I knew it was coming soon. So due to the retirement of Joni Roberts on 2/28, it is recommended that Jennifer Cato replace Ms. Roberts as the deputy treasurer.
Do I have a motion?
It's a short one.
I'll read that one as short. I move that the board appoint Jennifer Cato as deputy treasurer to replace Joan Roberts, who retired.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Dr. Dykel, authorization to issue a request for proposal for banking services.
Yeah, we did this about 4 years ago. It took effect July 1st, 2015, and it was a 2-year agreement. We had a 2-year extension in there if everything remained the same, and it did. So we were with York Community Bank, and then it became West Banco for the last 4 years. They've been very good for us, and so now we're asking permission to do another request for proposal, have it all set to go. It'll be another 2-year agreement, and we're looking to extend it for another 2 years if that bank, whoever it is, wins it and wants to keep the information the same, interest rates and everything else. So if all the conditions remain the same, we'll just extend it for another 2 years, and I'll come back before the board and ask for that. So we're asking permission to issue a request for proposal for banking services.
Do I have a motion? It's short.
Madam Chair,
That's what you get for going to that meeting. Yeah, hey, that.
I move that we approve the request for proposal for banking services.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions?
Dr. Dykel, was this the end of the contract, or weren't any more extensions to it?
We just did one extension.
Okay.
So it'll end June 30th. So we just want to get it out there enough, in enough time so I can analyze.
It wasn't because we weren't happy with the service, it's just the end of the contract there. Okay.
Okay, I think we're ready for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have Ms. Shedd. We ready? We're going to do a memorandum of understanding with the James Madison University.
Right, last but not least, very quick thing, and that is just an agreement so that we can bring a student teacher in from James Madison, working in the area of speech pathology. We're kind of excited about that. We've been, as we talked this year, we've kind of extended our group that we're serving as student teaching sites for speech language. So that's a good thing, because we just posted 2 positions.
Do I have a motion?
Go ahead, Mark.
I move that the board approve the memorandum of affiliation from James Madison University.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Comments, questions? I have a question. In the MOA, it says that this will automatically renew
That's like
for 1 year. So,
we have somebody next year. Usually what happens with, especially with the universities that are a little further away, is because they have somebody local that wants
Okay.
to be placed here.
okay, all right. Any other comments or questions? Okay, ready for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. We're now ready for reports and requests, and I've asked Dr. Clayton to give a report on our leadership seminar we attended. Dr. Clayton attended, I attended, Dr. Mellon attended, and Ms. Pfeiffer, yes.
First off, the Indiana School Board Leadership Seminar for 2018, I thought it was very, very good. There's a lot of things that we are doing good. Sometimes we get in a habit of taking shortcuts, just like I was saying. So move, well, that's inappropriate. I'll be the first one to say that was inappropriate. But again, we don't follow proper rules of order to the extent that we really don't have to. They said we should be more relaxed, but whatever we do, be consistent. I sort of like the 12th floor attitude that was discussed with us, is that we're here to make decisions. We're not here to be on the first floor in the doing the work of the superintendent and subordinates. But the superintendent should be able to provide us with all the information for us to make a good decision. If we have questions, and I can say that this happens, if we have questions, then the superintendent should provide that extra information. Now, if for some reason we go brain dead and we come to a meeting and we need to know something, then that's good. But to not study your papers and everything that's going on, then it makes you look like you're not prepared. And we need to be prepared when we come to the meetings and make sure we get all the questions. The other thing is that on comments, as the president does, lay out the parameters, and sometimes we may want to respond, but that is not a good thing to do because you may not be ready with the right answer, but you might be dealing with that emotional and get us caught into an argument.
You're talking about public comments?
Public comments.
Yeah.
The other thing is that, which was good, is that your superintendent should always have an opinion. And if he doesn't have an opinion, you should question that. Because, you know, it could be affecting the leadership somehow. But to me, that was good. Again, we should try to refrain from using "I want" to make a motion, so move, raise your hand. You're supposed to get away from those type of things. I'm trying to go through this pretty quick, so I'm going to be quick on this.
Get your buzzer.
Yeah, I'm about the buzzing.
About to get buzzed here.
Hold on, guys. You know, I'm at that age too, I might forget. Yeah, okay. Bear with me. Again, the way that we do our agendas was discussed, and we're right on target with that. Doesn't matter what size your school corporation is, we all have the same task, is to make a decision. And in making those decisions, it says that you should refrain from abstaining based upon, there's two reasons why: legal and personal. And basically, if you know you've got a relationship that you would benefit, or legally if you're involved in the situation. So to some degree, you can agree or disagree with that. I did abstain, and I abstained for a reason. They were doing good service here, but they weren't doing good service with where I was at. So I didn't want to vote against them because I was taking a recommendation at that point. So there's some justifications that you can do some things. When we have hard decisions to make, that's when they say you should get on board. Don't put the pressures on everybody else just because you look at it politically that it could hurt you, but you're here to make a decision. Also in that, I think someone brought it up that whatever you do as a board member has to have the approval of the entire board. So if you want to do a survey, if you want to, whatever you want to do, you need the approval of the board because you are a representative of that board. Again, you have to think what's in the best interest of kids and your constituents. So it's okay to disagree, but you have to make that decision based on, let people call you, you don't call people for that. So that's what I got out of that. And let's see. It was a long meeting, but it was a good meeting. And I don't say that lightly, yes. That's all I have. I try to go through it quick.
It's a good summary, thank you. It was a very informative meeting, and we got a booklet, and I'll be glad to share that with, we brought one back for Katie as a new board member, fairly new board member. We brought one back for her to review, and if any of you would like to have one, I'll see if I can get one for you.
Excuse me, there's one other important, on orientation of new board members. There are some things that need to be inclusive of that, like the order of the meetings, how it's to be run, and when you make comments and things like that. That was brought out also.
Yes. Thank you.
Down through.
Okay. Ms. Hutchinson, do you have any reports? Anybody else? Okay. I did attend the Ford Next Generation meeting that we had this past weekend. It was a huge group, but I know Dr. Mellon's going to talk a little bit about that. It was, I think we've outgrown that room. We can't meet there anymore. What did we have, 100?
About 105 people there. It's a good problem to have.
Yes, it is. It is. And Tracy, you were there. I didn't know if you wanted to add anything about the meeting.
No, it was interesting.
Were you there? You were there, Nancy.
I was there.
Yeah, you were there with the.
I was really there.
You're on the multicultural group. I'm sorry. And did you want to add anything?
No, we had some good student representation. Food was good as usual. The food was good.
Food was
The only thing I
delicious.
didn't get that I wanted was bread pudding. So maybe next time. Then you ask me. Okay. That's the only bad.
I think we were. Most of the people in the audience are not educators. They're business leaders and movers and shakers in our community, and I think they were very impressed. I was very impressed with our students and what they're doing. They had such poise and confidence, and that's a great thing to see. Okay, we have any public comments on non-agenda? Okay, thank you. We have any, now just any board comments?
None.
Any of you?
I have,
Speak up. Ms. Pratt has one.
I have one. This is important. This came on my Facebook today, so that makes it really important, right? Okay.
Absolutely.
This is a parent of a child, and I won't mention the child's name. I'll just read you what she said. The child's name, and then the class has started working on geometry. When I walked into the kitchen this morning, still groggy, she had a paper covered with calculations to figure the area of circles, and asked me how to calculate the area of triangles for fun. This is a Riverside third grade kid. That's amazing. Now, to me, that's amazing. And so I just want to get a shout out to Riverside and everybody else who does the job we're doing, and nobody talks about it enough. So I was glad it was on Facebook, because maybe all kinds of people will know.
I know, the whole world can see it.
And now you know.
Yeah, I know. Okay, that's all I have to say. Dr. Miller, comments?
Yes, just a couple, board. We will plan in a couple weeks to come back with a more extensive report out on our academies of Greater Clark. But I will tell you that we had the good fortune to present to 3 State Board of Education members that came down to this area for the purpose of seeing what we're doing with our academies of Greater Clark, with the graduation pathways being so significant. We also had a person representing the Commission of Higher Education that was part of that group. Our team did a great job of presenting. Just very, very proud of them. And the State Board of Education walked away with a lot of positive feedback, but we'll go into some more detail in a couple weeks when we make that presentation. And I appreciated all 3 of you attending the steering committee meeting and participating, and it is great to see so many people so engaged in what we're trying to do for kids. So that was great. Just another quick story for you. Bob Cutter from Cutter Construction called me recently, and he wanted to talk to me about something that he said has never happened in his experience. And he's been in business a long time. He wanted to talk to me about the relationship that his workers have with the staff and students at North Haven Elementary. He said it's such a special relationship that everyone treats one another with such great respect. Students, staff, the workers from Cutter. And he said, I've never seen that level of relationship in any workplace that he's ever been associated with. So I wanted to pass that on to you. And in fact, what ended up happening was there was a contest in the school to see which grade would want to face Cutter Construction in a dodgeball game. So the 5th grade won, and the 5th graders took on Cutter Construction, and it was a tremendous, just a tremendous experience. And just think about that. Think about that power of that relationship. These are individuals. Cutter's doing a tremendous job with the work they're doing at North Haven first and foremost, and we expect that building to be completed by June 30 is what we're planning on. So it just goes to show. But along the way, it shows you can do the work, and you can also make a positive difference in kids' lives and play some dodgeball. That's right. And then Jason Jackson's in the back of the room, and just want to thank him also. Thank you, sir. And just thank all of our law enforcement, fire, first responders for all they do to support us every day. Doing a lot of great things behind the scenes. So thank you, Board.
Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I move that we adjourn the motion of the meeting.
Do I have a second?
Wow.
You know what, we're gonna let it go.
Okay.
All those in favor? Aye.